Hello, and welcome back to another episode of What the Hack. Today, we are going to be talking about sorting algorithms. A sorting algorithm is used to rearrange a given array or list element in a new order in the respective data structure. Imagine if you have a deck of poker cards that is shuffled, and you want to organize them in an ascending order based on the number on the cards. You would probably be looking at the cards, comparing which one has a smaller or larger number, and deciding which card goes first and which card goes second. We can code this logic of sorting with programming languages and have our computers do the checking, comparing, and deciding for us. Same as search algorithms, there are many kinds of sort algorithms as well, and each of them has their own strengths and weaknesses, and is more suitable for one situation than for another. In this video, we will be introducing two sorting algorithms called bubble sort and selection sort. Bubble sort is one of the simplest and most straightforward sorting algorithms in terms of logic. It works by comparing the first element in the array with the element immediately next to it, and swapping the two elements if the first element has a greater value than the second element. This step is repeated until the original first element in the array has been swapped to a position where the element to its left is smaller and the element to its right is greater than the element itself. And when this step is completed, the next element in the array will be checked and compared with its immediate neighboring element and be swapped if necessary. After many iterations of checking, the sorting process is completed when all elements are checked, compared, and swapped to have a list or array that is in the correct order that we want. Let's take a look at this algorithm with an example. Imagine with our deck of shuffled poker cards, we can lay it out on the table in its unsorted order: 10, 4, 7, 1, 5, 2, 6, 3, 9, 8, and start checking the cards from left to right for sorting these cards into ascending order according to the numbers on the cards. Our first card is 10. Is it greater than 4? Yes. So we will swap 4 and 10 to have our cards look like this: 4, 10, 7, 1, and so on. Then let's check 10 and 7. Is 10 greater than 7? Yes, so let's swap the positions of 10 and 7 to have our cards look like this: 4, 7, 10, 1, 5, and so on. Next, let's compare 10 and 1. And because 10 is greater than 1, we will swap their positions to have our cards look like this: 4, 7, 1, 10, 5, etc. This step of checking, comparing, and swapping until 10 is swapped to the position it is supposed to be at, which in this case, it will be the rightmost position in our cards. And after we are done with placing 10 at its appropriate position, we will start the same process again with the leftmost card in our set of cards, which in this case we would start by comparing 4 and 7, then 4 and 1, then 4 and 5, and swapping positions if 4 is greater than its neighbor on the right side. As you can imagine, this way of sorting requires us to check and compare and swap elements many times. If we have an array that is not a size of 10, but a size of 10,000 or even 100 million, it can take a very long time. Thus, although bubble sort is fairly easy to understand, it might cost us a lot of time when we use it to sort too many pieces of information. Luckily, brilliant computer scientists in the world have invented and are continuously inventing more and better algorithms that can help us sort informations quicker and quicker. An example of that will be selection sort. Selection sort is as its name says. We will be selecting when we are comparing and swapping our elements. Selection sort works by selecting the element in an array with the smallest value and swapping it with the element in the first position, then selecting the element in the array that has the second smallest value and swapping it with the element in the second position. Imagine if we had our same deck of shuffled poker cards laid out on a table like this: 10, 4, 7, 1, 5, 2, 6, 3, 9, and 8. And we want to sort it in an ascending order based on the value of the number on each card. We will first scan through our cards and look for the card with the smallest value. As we can see, the card with 1 is our smallest, but it is not at the leftmost position. So we will swap the card at the leftmost position with the card having the number 1. To have our cards look like this, 1, 4, 7, 10, and so on. Now that we have got our smallest card in the leftmost position, let's look at the rest of the cards and look for the second smallest card. We see that the second smallest card in our list of cards is 2, and it's not at the second leftmost position. So we will swap it with card 4 to have our cards look like this: 1, 2, 4, 7, and so on. Then we will select the third smallest card and swap it to the third leftmost position if it is not already there. And this process continues until we have our cards organized in the correct ascending order, according to the numbers on the cards. Thanks to our efforts of checking for the numbers in the cards and knowing which one is smallest and the second smallest, third smallest, and so on, we can take out the cards directly and swap them to where they were supposed to be, instead of comparing each card with its neighboring card every time we swapped it. This saves us from making many comparisons and enables us to organize our poker cards quicker in general than if we are comparing neighboring cards so many times. That is, using the bubble sort algorithm. Now that we have learned the logics of these two sorting algorithms, let's see them in action in Repl.it. Let's begin by coding our bubble sort and testing it out with an array of numbers. First, we will define the function by giving it the name bubble sort. And for the parameters, we will need to put in the variable name arr or ar, which will be an array that we can pass to our function. Now let's move into coding the logic of our function. Here we will check how many elements are there in our array and save this information into a variable n for later use. Next, we will utilize a for loop and give it the number n-1, which will tell our computers to perform the following actions a number of times. This number of times is going to be 1 less than the number of elements in our array, and this is the total number of times that we have to look through our array. Then within our first for loop, we will have another for loop nested here, and it will get a range from 0 to a number that is smaller than the total number of elements in the array minus the number of iterations that we have already completed minus 1. This will have our computers check the elements in our array one by one and help our function know which part of the array to check, to avoid checking the parts that are already ordered. Within this nested for loop, we will have our computers check the elements from left to right and compare them with the elements on the right side. If the element is greater than the element on their right side, then swap their positions to have them in the ascending order that we want. This is all for the sorting function. Now let's actually create an array or a list and call our function on the list and see if it actually sorts properly or not. And now let's run our script. As you can see in the output, our bubble sort algorithm and function did sort our array into ascending order as we wanted. Great job! Next, let's take a look at selection sort in action. Again, we will define the function by giving it the name selection sort. And for parameters, we will need to put in a variable named a, which will be an array or list that we can pass to our function. Now let's move into coding the logic of our function. Here, we will have a for loop that asks our computer to fully go through an array or a list. And within our for loop, we will first set the index of where the smallest value is supposed to be. Here it is I, which will be different based on which iteration we're in. If the computer is performing its first iteration, then I will be 0, and the index of the smallest value will be an index 0. After setting the index of the smallest value in our array, we will have another for loop to loop through the remaining part of the array, which will have the index 1 greater than the smallest value, to the last element in our array or list. Within this for loop, every time our computer sees that the value at the element where our smallest value should be is greater than a value at another index, It means that the element at where the smallest value should be isn't actually the smallest. If that is the case, then the other index should be the index where a smaller value is at. So, we will set that by assigning the current iteration to be the minimum index. And we will swap the values at these two indices so that the value at the position for the smallest value will be swapped with an actual smaller value. Now that we are done with coding our selection sort algorithm and function, let's test it out. Here we have the code to run the function. Although they both do the same task of sorting, bubble sort and selection sort actually utilize quite different logics and have different levels of performance. And remember, based on the kind of information, the kind of data structure, and the amount of information that you have, different algorithms can achieve different results in different scenarios. And with the amount of information that we have in the world today, computer scientists are working harder and harder to create more and more algorithms that can sort information quicker, take us less computer memory storage space, and other awesome things. As we progress in the upcoming videos, we will be introducing more algorithms that you can use to help sort the information that you have, such as organizing your favorite books by alphabetical order, ascending order, and more. Don't forget to check out the challenges where you can use what you learned today to solve some fun problems. That is all for this episode. Be sure to like and subscribe. See you in the next episode.